It requires only 14 years of education, that is, from grade 1 to a 4-year undergraduate degree. This is at least 2 years short of the world standard and puts our graduates at a grave disadvantage, especially when competing for jobs with foreign nationals. While many lament the dismal state of Philippine education, many also recognize that this is not for lack of attempts at reform. Several sound ideas and proposals have been put forward. Among these is the Basic Education Sector Reform Agenda, or BESRA, but is it proceeding as envisioned? Other than BESRA, what other reform initiatives can possibly transform the Philippine educational system? In line with this, with UP's desire to fulfill its role as the country's intellectual resource on pressing national issues, we would like to open anew our discussion by presenting the analysis of the Philippine education by our education experts. Arguing that Philippine education should be treated as cohesive passageways to learning, the panel will examine the philosophical and practical underpinnings of current reform plans and proposals. They will analyze the BESRA, which is one of the reform measures being implemented by the Department of Education. The panel will extend the analysis to higher education and will propose guidelines to reform it. I now invite all of you to listen to an afternoon of stimulating discussion on an issue that matters most to all of us, education. Thank you for coming, and magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, President Roman. All 4 speakers this afternoon have graced this hall in 2008 as speakers in UP's Centennial Lecture Series, and all of them talk about education. The convener of this afternoon's panel is Professor Maria Serena I. Jokno. Professor Jokno is Professor of History and Faculty Affiliate of the PhD Philippine Studies Program and the Center for International Studies. She also teaches at the UP College of Education. Her research interests are Philippine and Southeast Asian history and historiography. Professor Jokno was UP Vice President for Academic Affairs from 1999 to 2005 and a UP Centennial Fellow in 2008. Only recently, she was conferred an honorary fellowship at the Cairns Institute, James Cook University. Last year, Professor Jokno completed her review of the social studies curriculum and textbooks in basic education in collaboration with colleagues from the Department of History. The study, Making a Case for History in Basic Education, will be published this year. Now let me introduce our panelists. Dr. Alan D.I. Bernardo is Professor and University Fellow of the La Salle University. He is also currently Chair of the Philippine Social Science Council, President of the ASEAN Regional Union of Psychological Societies, and Secretary General of the Asian Association of Social Psychology. Dr. Bernardo's research interests include the social, cultural, and developmental dimensions of learning, achievement motivation, cognitions about learning, teacher cognitions and teacher development, and Philippine educational policy and reform. Among the awards Dr. Bernardo has received are UP Diliman Chancellor's Awards for Outstanding Researcher and Outstanding Teacher in 1995, UNESCO's International Award for Literacy Research in 1996, the Outstanding Young Men Award 2003, and the Outstanding Psychologist Award of the Psychological Association of the Philippines, 2009. Dr. Maria Cynthia Rose Banson Bautista is Professor of Sociology at the College of Social Sciences and Philosophy, UP Diliman. Professor Bautista specializes in the sociology of development and has recently ventured into the sociology of education. Her publications are in the areas of international migration, agrarian differentiation, urbanization, and education. Professor Bautista is former Dean of the College of Social Sciences and Philosophy and Executive Director of the UP Center for Integrative and Development Studies. She is also the co-chair of the Technical Panel for the Humanities, Social Sciences, and Communication of the Commission on Higher Education. Professor Bautista was among the 1988 Outstanding Young Scientists of the National Academy of Science and Technology and the 1995 10 Outstanding Women in the Nation's Service. Dr. Dina S. Ocampo is Professor of Reading Education and Dean of the UP College of Education. She is one of the founders of the Word Lab School, a non-stock, non-profit corporation which provides elementary education for children with dyslexia and related learning disabilities. In addition to her advocacy on literacy, Dr. Ocampo wrote the policy recommendations on language and literacy education of the Basic Education Reform Agenda for the Department of Education, which emphasized the use of the child's language as the beginning language of education. Her awards include the Gawad Chancellor for Research Publication 2004, Gawad Chancellor para sa Natatanging Guro 2006, and she is also among the 2007 awardees of the 10 Outstanding Women in the Nation's Service and the 2009 Metrobank Outstanding Teachers for the tertiary level. Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite you to listen to the forum on the promise of redemption, BESRA, and the need for higher education reform. Our first speaker is Professor Maria Serena Jo.